What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Raven's Reviews. Today we're reviewing Atlas Fallen. Now, for those of you that don't know, me and my friend Kale actually did a co-op playthrough, walkthrough, whatever you want to call it, and I'll make sure that I'll leave the playlist link in the description below. Now, before we get too sidetracked, let's move on with this review. So, Atlas Fallen. For those of you that don't know what Atlas Fallen is a third-person action role-playing game where at the beginning of the game you get to create and customize your own player avatar. Throughout the game, your player character is equipped with an ancient gauntlet which allows them to manipulate sand, turn it into weapons, and out of those weapons you have 3 different weapon types, but you can only carry 2 at any given time. And Atlas Fallen is an action-orientated game where players are required to dodge, counter and block incoming attacks, as well as switch swiftly and quickly between air and land combat. It also gives you a momentum bar in this game, where at a certain threshold the weapon the player is wielding will transform, and it can unleash a special ability or ability that deals a devastating damage to their opponent. Now, you just saw me use that there in the gameplay in the background. It's also open world, so that means that there are different regions for players to explore, as well as meet different NPCs, do side quests, different activities throughout the map, stuff like that. Now, there is movement in this game as well, where you can double jump, dash through the air up to 3 times. You can sand surf, for lack of a better word. And I would say that I definitely enjoyed this game. But let's move on to the gameplay, shall we? So now we're going to talk about the gameplay. So me and Kale both said that we thought the gameplay in this was very good. It gave you a learning curve early on throughout the game. The options of weapons they gave you very early on. And there was definitely no sort of sway to, oh, you should definitely choose this weapon, you should definitely choose that weapon as your secondary. It was very much playstyle orientated. So for those of you that are curious, there was 3 types of weapons. There was a sand whip, a hammer, and effectively knuckle dusters. Obviously the knuckle dusters did low damage but high rate of fire or attack speed. The hammer was sort of like your general all-rounder, and your whip was slower but had longer range, especially useful for those in-air fights, in-air combat. Now, when it came to the fights themselves, some of them were difficult, especially early on, but as you progressed through the game and you learned attack patterns from the enemies, again, enemy variety, it was there, but once you've fought the same enemy over and over again, like I said, attack patterns become familiar, and bites and fighting and sort of got stale. It was very much a case of, oh, this thing's just popped up, oh my god, I'm going to have to kill it, otherwise it's going to hinder me in this story, or it's going to hinder me for my side quest, or hinder me for this bit of exploration that I'm doing in the open world. And it did get stale very very quickly, I would say, especially for me at endgame when I was exploring and doing some side quest things for some trophy hunting. It definitely felt stale towards the end of it. I would say, again, when it came to story, story felt very bland. It was there. It definitely was there, don't get me wrong, but it didn't feel very compelling. It didn't keep me interested enough throughout the game. And then when it came to the gameplay in itself, as in story-wise, the story was actually quite short. Me and Kale were both very shocked when we did the last mission, and we were like, "Oh, is this it?" Because if you look on our playlist, we did 10 episodes, and the episodes vary from the first episode I know was an hour, and the rest vary between 30 to 45 minutes. And that's not a lot of gameplay or story gameplay, sorry, for the main quest of the game. Or at least me and Kale didn't think so. We were expecting a lot more from this game. But it was definitely a new take. The combat system felt good. It felt familiar as well. So it didn't throw us off completely. It wasn't like a whole brand new combat system we had to learn. The parry system was still there. Sort of gave me a Dark Souls-ish vibe from the combat. Being able to parry and get in right under your enemies. And then especially with your momentum bar, you was sort of advised, don't get hit, don't do this, don't do that. Because it lowers your momentum, and that was definitely something to consider during your fights. And it also helped with your character builds. Yes, I said character builds. So they give you 3 different templates, and basically what these templates consist of is a main sigil. Now that could be every time you go below 20% health, your healing automatically procs for you, or it could be that instead of your totem now healing you when you use it, it now gives you more momentum upon use. Or it could be that when you receive a fatal hit, that you automatically use all of your heals instead of what would have killed you. You then get smaller totems as well, which may be like hammers. The hammer weapon does more damage, or when you hit an enemy that's frozen, you deal more damage. On top of that, you also get weapon abilities, I guess. They don't all revolve around weapons, if I'm honest, but they're attacking abilities. So some of them would be, you now summon a whirlwind that you can trap enemies in and it deals consistent damage, or it could be you jump up in the air and slam the ground and deal an AoE attack, or you summon a hammer from the gods that comes slamming right down, which is the one that I use predominantly. Now this game was fun. Don't get me wrong, me and Kel very much did enjoy it. However, now that I'm looking back at it and reviewing it, it probably doesn't stand up to its price at full price. I would say that it is a good game, and if you can get it on probably a discount, I would. If you've got friends that are interested in it, then I would definitely recommend maybe splitting it down the middle if you can share the game. If not, maybe it is worth full price. But if you're just looking for another open adventure RPG, I would say that this game is there. It's definitely it, but I wouldn't go spending anywhere over £40 on this. It definitely wasn't that type of game. Like I said, it surprised me how much content there was in the game. Therefore, what I mean by that is the lacking content of it. I expected a longer story, if I'm honest. But the game was good. Overall, I would say the game was good. I enjoyed it. The story could have been more engaging and more fulfilling as the player. And in terms of missions, it definitely could have been longer. Like I said, we played for maybe 8 hours and completed the campaign. Don't get me wrong, that's all we did. We just rushed the campaign. We didn't do much exploring or side questing, which we could have done. But if you're a player like me, you just rush the main story and you leave all the side exploration until a point where you need it to get stronger, or you do it at the end game. But that is my review on Atlas Fallen. Me and Kale both thought that this game was good. The story was lacking. The combat was great. The exploration was great. The movement was interesting and a new take on it for sure. But is it worth 50 or 60 pounds, no. Would I get it on a discount for maybe anywhere between 20 to 30, maybe 40 at a push if you've got a friend that's interested? Yes. Yes, I would. Now, I know this review is probably coming out a bit late compared to when I did the series, but I have been busy and I'm not feeling too well, feeling a bit under the weather at the moment. Hopefully I'll recover and I'll be back with you guys as soon as possible. So right now, guys, I want to thank you very much for watching. If you're new here, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. It's completely free, means the world to me. Hit that notification icon so you know when all of my reviews, gameplay, etc. go live. And let me know down in the comments what you guys thought of this game. If you've got any questions, go ahead and ask me. If you've played this game, what did you think? Do you think my review was fair? What are your opinions? I am interested. If you guys also have another game that you want me to review, please let me know in the comments below and I'll do my best to get it out to you, either with just the review or maybe a whole gameplay playlist along with it as well. But thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you all in the next one. Goodbye, guys.